Geraldine, we've got a couple of questions from the chat section. Griffith would like to know, are the challenges today any greater than they were 100 years ago? And Gloucester is interested in your comment of pulling your personality back 10 to 15%. How do you do that?
That may, in fact, shock some people. The other night, I was telling a woman who is a good Four Corners woman, and she looked at me and she said, "How dare he say that to you?" And this is a good 20 years ago, 15 years ago he said this to me. And I said, no, I think it was the best comment. For instance, one of the things that's often said to women in radio, in particular in television, is talk about your family, you know, really emote with the audience. I have found that is a no-no. It's bad advice. It actually, I think it's just a risk. I'm not saying you never ever mention that you're a mother or whatever, but to get too personal, it intuitively means that people watching on have not understood how tough our public culture still is to women. And I see it all the time. I just think you've got to watch yourself. You just nip and tuck, is how I'd put it. Without compromising your essential personality, you nip and tuck, and you find that, what was it, the great, lower your voice and strengthen your argument. That's another good one. Honestly, it can definitely be done without sacrificing yourself, and you will find it's worth it. Are the challenges any great? I think we're in a much better position, I've got to tell you. I think we have made staggering advances. Look, I believe basically, and it was again something that Germaine Greer said years ago, 30 years ago when I remember it, she said, my view, women can't have it all. That's a nonsense, that women can have it all at once. But success will be when women in public who want to take on public life, however you describe that, because a lot of you are doing that, I know, that they have the same number of choices as men in public life. And I think that's about the yardstick I use. And I think, if you use that measure, I think women are doing much better these days.
Thank you, Geraldine. We have another question from Perenjari here. How have you juggled your career and child raising at this, as this is a very topical issue in rural areas where the options are limited for women? Even though you just said you weren't going to talk about yourself.
Yes, now is that on? Yes, I think it is. Well, with difficulty, I heard Gail Kelly from Westpac last night saying the same thing. I had 2 children of my own and I had 2 stepchildren, and I did take 4 months off after my first baby, who's now a beautiful 27-year-old girl, and 6 months off after my second baby, who was 17, so they were 10 years apart. And I worked, I didn't go back to full-time life well, I really never went back to a full-time job. I did a portfolio existence where I fashioned a range of things to give me more options. Look, it takes a lot of energy, and you know, I've been a healthy person, thankfully, thus far, and I think it takes a lot of, you have to look for the joy. You have to, if you start getting completely ground down, it's just not worth it. It robs you. You've got to fashion yourself. I just don't think you can be quite as successful as you want to be in those early stages of a child's life. I don't think you can be. That's a bit of a harsh old thing to say, but I think you've got to pace yourself and look for the people who do support you. Truly, there are lots of people there ready to support you. Don't think they're all against you.
Thank you, Geraldine. A question from Ballarat and then one from Macedon Rangers. Ballarat's interested in questions on sexism. Advice for girls still at school who have to deal with sexism at a basic level, that is, getting kicked off the soccer team by a male coach to be replaced by boys, not very nice. And as educators in rural regional areas, do you have any ideas about how we can challenge gender stereotypes?
No, not very nice at all, being kicked off the soccer team. Look, I can still get so angry when I see things that are just infuriating, you know, and your rage can take, you've got to, genuine rage is genuine, like if that's there, it's there, but I would say to you, that's my argument, if you can have your rage in private, pull it back in order to convert that rage to clever strategic judgment about how you get round that soccer coach. That my very good politically minded husband has taught me a lot about strategic judgment, that you know, you don't necessarily fight straight up and down like they are in Libya at the moment. You wait until they are slightly exposed. Sister Veronica Rady once said, some of you may know her, she was a great English literature person from Western Australia. She said, I take Mao's dictum, dear. I don't fight them. I wait till I can see the colour of their eyes right down in the plains, and I look them straight in the eye, and only then do I take them on, which I thought was rather cute. I do think we've got to learn much better strategic judgment. Don't take him straight on. Go via the side door. And in a way, you know, those gender stereotypes, I know this might sound odd, but I think the more we enjoy being women, the more you challenge, if you know what I mean, that gender stereotype that we're earnest, not really built for authority, not good under pressure. Like, I mean, of all things that ought to be absurd in rural areas of Australia, it's so palpably untrue. So I think often underlying a lot of male power behaviour is fear, honestly, that we're too good at an underlying endurance and durability. I think they wonder whether we are deft enough strategically, and sometimes I do too, by the way, but as for an underlying endurance, they know we've got that. So we've got to work cleverly and show where we enjoy this stage we're at. It's a bit woolly, but that's the best I can do at the moment.
Thank you, Geraldine. Can I ask Lithgow to, who's got their hand up first, then Macedon Rangers, then Brolga Theatre to answer the question. So Lithgow first.